Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And you're listening to the Horse Talk Show, and we're in the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala, and we have a great lineup for you. Very excited actually to have Dr. Faith Hughes with us, and she has not been on the show for at least as long as I think Isaac's been on the team with us. I think that would be a couple of years, and we're very excited. She actually named this calf Donald right after Donald Trump won the election, so we've got a calf story for you that's great. The Proper Way to Groom Your Horse with Megan Vainosky from MV Equestrian. She is absolutely wonderful young lady that has been working with Flynn. And we also have, I'm not even going to pronounce Shawn's last name because I can't. Roetschke, is that right? I hope I'm right. She's going to tell us some stories about everything from being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader all the way to having a wonderful drill team and a ministry and working with horses and some wonderful ladies. So very excited to have her with us as well for this show. And then, of course, we'll have our regular wrap-up with Horsemanship Tips of the Week from Pete and Dogmanship with
Neil
from Ocala Dog Ranch. So great lineup, and we've got lots going on this week. It's the week. It's the week.
I was going to say, for you, it's the week that you want to end.
Yeah, I'll be so happy on Sunday morning. I'll be rejoicing. We have this week's very special CEP's signature equine events. We are the only chamber in the world that has an equine initiative, and we celebrate that by making sure we bring you the finest in equine edutainment.
So on November 22nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Equine Industry Expo.
Yes, and if you're listening on 97.3 The Sky,
you missed
Saturday morning, you missed it, yeah. But you didn't miss the rest. That's
you
right.
did miss November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the parade and the Hobby Horse Equestrian
So
Games.
please join us at 10 a.m. at the Florida Horse Park by the large covered arena. Do not be deterred by lots and lots of logistical things going on there, because the Florida Horse Park is currently a center for relief for hurricane aftermath, and you're going to see all sorts of lighting sets and generators and portable bathrooms and all sorts of things. But please do not be put off by that. We are having this event. It is under the covered arena in the middle of the park. So if you're looking for the barns, the arena's between those barns. It's centrally located. There's actually a very good entrance from 80th coming in, where you actually don't even have to come in 475, which we recommend using. It's a much better entrance right now with everything that's going on with relief. We certainly understand that hurricane relief is absolutely needed, but our events are going on, and it's 2 days of an incredible experience to meet horses. We have a breed exhibit. We have, I think, about 35 or 40 vendors. We've got some beautiful parade horses coming, including a phenomenal drill team that we'll be talking about later on. Those little people there are, if you're watching us, are Ali Demerrick's, Brandon Rice's kids, all three of them with their little ponies.
And then on Saturday, the Hobby Horse Games, you get to try out all different events on the safety of a stick horse.
That's right. and we'll show you a few more breeds if you're watching. If you're not watching, you can tune in on the Horse Talk Show on Facebook or Equus TV, and you will get to see some beautiful horses that we're showing you here that we're going to showcase. That is actually Gascon, the Briar horse of this year, Pasifino, who's going to be with us. We're very excited about having him, and just some really amazing horses. There are 72 breeds that actually call Marion County home, and that's a beautiful Andalusian, and Marty is looking beautiful in her costume. So just a wonderful experience to come and see these lovely horses, listen to the national anthem sung, of course, by LT from All Dry Services, and you can meet Magic, the only living top 10 most heroic animal in the history of the world, which is pretty exciting to come see Magic. She's got a movie about her. And
from Gentle Carousel.
That's right. And they're going to be doing their reading program on Friday the 22nd as well for elementary age kids. So there's going to be so much going on, and the Hobby Horse Games is amazing because you get to try 5 or 6 different equestrian sports from the safety of a stick horse and win ribbons and trophies, learn from top equestrians, which is exciting. And Linda Pirelli is going to be with us both days, which we're very excited to have her with us, really a legend. And the fact that she would even have time for us to come and help teach and to do a demo is phenomenal. Pete, you're going to be doing a demo.
Yes, ma'am.
Megan from MV Equestrian. We've got Florida Farrier Service. We've got Sean McCarthy doing some equine dentistry. It's just going to be a wonderful opportunity. So make sure the 22nd and 23rd, you're at the Florida Horse Park. If you're listening on the radio on Saturday morning, it's not too late to come join us. Drive to the Florida Horse Park. It's just south of town, and it'll be so worth it. So now that I've shamelessly plugged our event, we should move on.
Viva Las Vegas, December 7th, the Mary Sue Rich Community Center from 5 to 9 p.m.
December 7th, and this is the annual gala for the Stirrups and Strides Therapeutic Riding Center. So it's a great cause. They do wonderful things with their therapeutic riding program. A single ticket is $100. You can reserve a whole table. You can go to stirrupsandstrides.com/events for more information. I'm the MC, and by the way, I am still looking for a costume.
And they're going to have all sorts of things you would see in Vegas, like a magician, a contortionist, some dancers, and it'll be a lot of fun. And they're doing an Elvis lookalike contest. Don't look at me.
Yes, I'm
Doesn't
looking
mean I'm
at
doing
you.
it.
I'm looking at you. Dancing Pete Rhoda is going to come as Elvis.
I'm going to disappoint you.
Listen, that's worth $100 ticket just to see that.
Yes, ma'am.
Just saying. A reminder, I think last week was the first time we actually announced this. It's a fairly new deal for Larson Hay, but I think it's fantastic, and that is a flat $40 delivery fee within Marion County for your hay and feed supplies. So this is absolutely phenomenal, whereas before it was this
Depending
much,
on
this
where
much,
you were.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now Marion County, it's $40. There are some exclusions to that, but not many. You can call 352-732-4445 and get on their delivery schedule. This is a great way of them helping our community to save money, because that's a great price for delivery. So they're going to bring it to you and unload it, and it's only going to cost you $40. So That's great. We're very happy about that. Quick mention before we wrap up this segment, TT Distributors Horse and Farrier Supply is having their Customer Appreciation Day, January the 18th from 8 to 1 p.m. on Highway 40. So after we're recovering from getting over all the money we spent at Christmas, how nice to be appreciated and save some money. TT Distributors, check them out. We'll be back after this with Dr. Faith Hughes from Peterson Smith. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hooflink system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And I am I was so delighted actually to go over to Peterson Smith just recently, and we were actually going over to have a look at the new CT wing, which we aired last week with Dr. Perez, and that was a fantastic experience. But while we were there, we had a chance to interview Dr. Faith Hughes a couple of times, and I think I mentioned earlier in the first segment that I hadn't seen her for quite some time. And I'd just forgotten what a sweet spirit she has. And just being around her was just wonderful. I was grinning from ear to ear because a calf came in, and the people actually brought the calf in because they thought it needed to be euthanized. And the techs were looking at the calf, and I think it was right after Election Day, and they named the calf Donald and decided to save him because they thought he was savable. So,
and the Horse Talk Show goes to the cows.
Here's Donald and Dr. Hughes. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show here at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And honestly, in the 9 or 10 years that I've been working with Peterson Smith, this might be my favorite visit ever. I'm a little partial to four-leggeds of all sorts, as you know, and I just love them. And I love the story of this little calf who kind of came in sort of really in his last probably moments of life and is now recovering here by the looks of it. And we're very excited about that here with Dr. Faith Hughes, and really love the fact that you work on these animals, because I know it's not easy to find somebody all the time that works on cows and sheep. And
we have a shortage of equine vets, but we really have a shortage of cow, sheep, goat, pig vets.
For sure.
And but these guys, some of them they're well loved and they need a little extra help, and a lot of the same things that we do for horses are just as good for these. A lot of it is just nursing care and a little bit of medicine. And
little IV.
Yeah, little Donald. He named it Donald. This is the day after the election.
That's right.
So we didn't really know what else
you could
possibly,
he's not a girl.
what you could possibly name him.
Yes.
And so he came in, he's 5 days old, and he really hasn't had anything to eat. He's only stood up for a couple of minutes by himself. So we're trying to give him a little IV nutrition here, and he's had a little bit of milk from a bottle, and We'll give him some medications, and we'll see.
See how he does.
We'll see how he does.
So
Yeah.
you work on a few sheep and cattle.
Yeah, so I have sheep and cattle myself for fun, and I take care of a lot of FFA and 4-H animals, and we raise those animals for kids to have as 4-H and FFA projects.
I love
because
that.
It's agriculture is an integral part of our existence. If we
is
eat,
indeed.
we are participating in agriculture, and not everybody thinks about that. So, yeah, we try to get kids outside and let them showing
Kids love
animals and having
animals.
projects. It's a sense of accomplishment when they show their animal. If they've worked hard, it shows, and they haven't done all their homework, then sometimes that shows too. And so it's good.
So I love what you said earlier before we started this about how you explain to kids about being stewards of animals. And even though eventually that animal might be eaten, which is hard sometimes for some people to think about, but it's an important part of our existence, and being good stewards of them and giving them the best life while they're with us is so important.
Yes, most of us do consume animal products, and we enjoy animal products, and we also know that we're all someday going to leave this earth. And we also need to understand that in order for people to take care of animals, they have to, in some cases, they need to be profitable. And if no one ever ate animals, truthfully, probably nobody would ever take very good care of some
They
of
wouldn't
them.
exist, right?
So we do know that these animals will end up very likely in the food chain. And our goal is on our kids' project animals is that every day of their life should be perfect. It should be safe, secure, fresh water, fresh feed. They should have a wonderful life until one day their life humanely, painlessly, is over. And what human being would not ask for an existence where every day was perfect until
Until
the
the
day it's
end.
over?
Yes.
Because we're all going to go someday.
Right.
So,
Well, I love what you do, and you're obviously your own passion to have them yourself.
oh, I love these little ruminants.
you do.
love
I
them.
can see that.
I love them. Little lambs and calves, and they're a lot of fun.
And what do you have at home?
I have about 88 ewes and about 20 mama cows.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we
That's
have-
fun.
You should do a segment with lots of little lambs running
know.
around in the
I
spring.
would love to. Can we come?
It'll be a kind of a different slant on things.
Don't let
but-
me leave with one, Dr. Hughes.
Okay,
Don't
well, I
let me.
might. We have little bottle babies that are pretty cute.
Sheep are my favourites. I actually saved a sheep in Wales that was sick
Oh,
and found its
yeah.
owner and carried it down the hill, climbed over the fence. Then I found out the only
job.
thing you can still be hung for in England is stealing a man's sheep. Really glad I didn't get into trouble. It turned into quite a funny story. But how lovely. I love this. This to me is, it shows the real heart behind what you do here, because, a lot of people think that, everybody at the end of the day thinks about money and making money, and obviously we all have to make it. But how wonderful that you help people who otherwise probably couldn't get
Yeah.
help. And to me, I think that's really huge.
Well, we're stewards of animals first, and we deal with people second.
Well, we're certainly going to
So we
be
do what
praying
we
for
can.
little Donald to
Yep.
make a recovery, and we would love to see him when he's better, because
Yeah.
I have a
You
feeling
think
he's
you're
going to,
Yeah,
he's
show
in the
him
very,
you think
very
you're
best place he could be right now, and
I know you're not really.
he's lovely. He really
He hasn't been here very long. He just got here about an hour ago.
Oh
So
my gosh,
he's
bless
got
him.
He's got a long way to go.
He does,
We'll
but he's
see.
lovely.
We'll
He is.
see.
He's super cute. Well, we're going to hope for the very, very best for you, Donald. You certainly got a great name, named after a president.
What else would you call a calf that comes in the day after the presidential election?
It's kind of meant to be, right? Yes.
So,
Oh, well, that's
We'll see.
wonderful. Thank you for sharing his story here with
All right.
Dr. Faith Hughes at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital, doing my favorite segment I've ever done with them. So I just love this. It's so great. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. Dr. Faith Hughes, she is quite a vet. And she's got quite a big heart for the animals as well. She shared how many FFA students that she's helped, and how she finds it hard to believe that in this area there are not that many people who actually work on cows, believe it or not.
right.
That a lot of the large animal vets are focused on horses, obviously, because we do have a veterinary shortage in Marion County. In fact, in the US, we have a veterinary shortage. So it makes sense that, there's a bigger focus, I guess, on the equine world than there are on the cows. But how great that Dr. Hughes is able to help them, and she's willing and enjoys it. You could see how much her heart was involved in that situation. So it was wonderful that hopefully Donald made it. We'll follow up and find out, but he was certainly doing a lot better once he got to Peterson and Smith. So I was just happy to be there that day.
So at that moment, Peterson and Smith Bovine Animal Hospital.
Yeah.
Instead of Equine.
And so in the last segment today, Pete's going to do a cowmanship tip of the week.
Tip of the week.
Have you got a cowmanship tip of the week?
I can, but I had something else planned maybe.
Anyway, it was a great visit. We enjoyed it. We've got some other segments coming up from that visit, and we hope you enjoyed learning about little Donald and him going through his healing process. We'll definitely keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully he grows up to be a big, healthy cow. We have got to wrap this up, and we are going to actually come back with Megan Vainosky, and you've seen some segments with Megan before, I know, and last week I had my first English writing lesson in, I don't really want to admit how many years, but I
40,
am going...
30?
Oh my gosh, I'm not that old.
Okay.
I know I'm old enough for it to be that long, but it's been a long time. So Megan gave me a writing lesson. I'm still limping from being unfit and sore. We're not going to show you that one this week. We're going to show you grooming. So we'll be back with Megan after this. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. Join us at the Florida Horse Park on Friday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. for the Equine Industry Expo presented by Advanced Staffing for demonstrations by top equine industry professionals, horsemanship demos by top trainers like Linda Pirelli and Dancing Pete Rhoda, a breed exhibit, a vendor village, food trucks, a kids zone, and more. Free admission for all, and Marion County Public School absentee credit is available. For the best in equine edutainment, don't miss this event at the Florida Horse Park. That's November 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We're switching it up to Megan Vainosky from MV Equestrian, and she's going to teach us about grooming a horse properly. Here she is.
This is Show Jumping 101 with Megan Vainosky with MV Equestrian Ocala.
Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative here with Megan Vainosky of MV Equestrian Ocala. And we are going to talk a little bit about grooming. But first, if you think I have helmet head, it's because I do. I was wearing a helmet, so that tends to have that effect on. Does that have that effect on your head?
Absolutely, it's horrible. The line across the forehead for hours after I'm done riding.
Yes, it might be me that needs some grooming.
Like, yes.
Yeah, so let's start with the very first thing. And obviously, I'm sure you don't have to go in a specific order, but let's go in the order that you go in when you start grooming a horse.
Yeah, I don't necessarily say there's a right or wrong way to do it. I mean, there are some people that are going to say there absolutely is a right way to do it. I'm not going to argue. You're grooming your horse. I think that's a great step. A lot of people don't even do that. So
yes.
The fact that you're taking a brush to the horse, I think that's awesome. But for me personally, obviously the horse is either in the stall, tied up, secured some way, somehow, or I mean out in the field. I don't really do that often, but you could do it out in the field.
Cross ties is a great, safe, and good to train your horse to even standing cross ties, because at first some horses are not okay with it, and that's a great training, because anywhere you go then, that has that setup, you can get your horse in a safe environment where it can't.
Yeah, no doing circles around or they can only move left to right so much.
Yeah.
So assuming the horse is tied up, ready to go, I always start with a curry comb. So those are the brushes that have like the little spikes or like the little bristles where you really, really get in there. I tell my kids, if I don't see you sweating during the curry comb portion of the grooming process, then you're not doing it right.
And a lot of people associate currying with hair removal, and a lot of people don't even realize that the curry brush is actually very effective for getting the dirt from underneath the hair that might be against the skin that could turn into some skin condition or fungal infection, bacterial. Right.
Yep, absolutely.
So very good to not only think of a curry for you get that winter coat that you're trying to curry off in the spring and you want to try and get rid of that hair. It certainly does do that. But again, getting that kind of I call it like scurf, the stuff that kind of gets under the hair.
Sweat, the rain, water, whatever.
When they rolled in the field.
Gets poop, dried poop gets down and it cakes onto their skin in there. So getting that curry comb definitely gets all of that brought up to the surface. And I do that in one sweeping motion. So I normally start on the right side of the horse. I start at the neck. I work my way down to the butt, go around the butt, and then work my way back up. I just feel like it flows a little bit better that way. That's just me. And then I follow through with a hard brush. Sometimes I'll actually do 2 hard brushes, depending on how spiffy and fast I'm trying to be. I'll just do kind of 2 at the same time. And I go with the hair this time instead of against it, and that gets everything that you have brought up, hair, dirt, whatever, up to the surface. You can kick that down.
Now we call that hard brush in England a dandy brush.
A dandy brush.
That's
I
what
love that.
That's what we call the hard brush, the dandy brush. And I haven't heard that used here.
Yeah, no. I think we just say hard brush.
Yeah.
We're super original.
Dandy brush. So there you go. You have a new British banter word.
I love that. And then I go to the face with a soft brush because, of course, you don't want anything hard.
You don't want a dandy brush on the face.
No dandy brushes on the face. Opposite of a dandy brush. Soft.
We call that a body brush in England.
Oh.
Even though we use it on the face.
Huh, okay. Body brush.
Yes, a body brush.
And I do the face. Sometimes I do a sponge. I also like the, please do not come for my throat if I don't say this correctly. The tiger's tongue, the little like black, it looks like a sponge, but it's not.
Yeah.
I love using that on the face. It's soft, but it also kicks up. It kind of works as like a little curry. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to worry about, you're scrubbing a horse's face with the curry comb. It kind of does all of that in one. But I still follow through with the soft brush at the end to kind of keep the shine and keep it all soft. Then I do mane and tail. I feel like that's kind of easy. The easy thing, kind of do that at the end. And then I do the hoofs at the end. Sometimes I do the hooves first, depending on the horse. If I have a horse that's really green and is still kind of learning how to pick up their feet, I'll start that because sometimes that'll take a hot minute and I'd rather get my bending over out of the way ASAP. But for the most part, I finish off on doing their feet.
And then, of course, when you're picking the hoof, you're very careful to pick down the sides of the frog, which is the triangular
the frog
part.
has the perfect little triangle in it.
So you're going to clean out down the side of those.
Absolutely.
And then clean out all around the edge. If a horse's hooves haven't been trimmed for a while, sometimes there's that little ridge on the edge too
that catches
that
all the
gets
dirt
in it. So you clean that out, and then of course brushing that off afterwards helps.
Yes,
to
I don't
loosen.
like the hoof picks that are just actual hoof picks. They're
Without
just
the
the pick.
brush,
They don't
yes.
have the brush. It drives me crazy because I just gotta brush it
brush
out.
is-
Gotta
that brush
it
can
out.
also, if you're picking and you feel like you're digging kind of hard, especially if a more sensitive horse, more sensitive hooves, and you don't want to really
Get in
pick
there,
in
yep.
too much, you can brush to loosen things.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Then, yeah, so that really helps as well. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
And the other thing is when you're going to tack your horse up to ride, if grooming is not done properly, you're going to have all sorts of issues. So here's some of them. For example, you can get a terrible girth sore if there's a lot of dirt under your horse's belly that you haven't gone under the belly and got out, because the girth is they're going to sweat, and then that dirt's going to get rubbed in. Can also get a numna sore. A numna in England is the saddle pad.
Oh,
numna. There you go. Numna.
Love
I don't
that.
even know where that word comes from.
I
It's
love
probably a
that.
brand or something. You know how Hoover is a vacuum?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can get a rub from the saddle, if you're not grooming properly. And then as far as hooves go, a lot of people think, I don't need to pick his hooves every day. You could go out there and the horse has a stone or picked up a nail, God forbid, or something in those hooves. You're going to go out there and your horse is going to trot off lame, and you could have saved yourself
That
a
was
worse
me.
injury.
Yeah, before we moved into the place that we were at now, we were fortunate enough to have the horses on the property, but you could tell the people that were renting the place before either didn't have animals or didn't care. There was, in the paddock, there was glass everywhere.
Yes.
And even though, I spent hours trying to pick it all up, for about a month after we moved in, every day when I would go and pick out my horse's feet, there was a piece of glass, an old piece of a beer can.
And those things can come up actually later. So you can end up moving in a place and it looks fine. And when the horses start churning the ground around, this has actually happened to me in multiple places I've lived. People had a fire pit out there. They threw a few beer bottles. And when I looked out there, there was nothing. But the horses start walking and churning up the dirt, and it rains, and then they churn it up some more, and you'd be surprised. And a lot of places in Florida used to have like old home places on them, where people had their fire and cooked outside. And all that stuff, even like pots and pans and bits and pieces, can actually come up out of the dirt. And so that's something to really be mindful of in your fields, or fencing, nails that popped and flew. All those things happen, it's just, it happens.
Yeah, being an old vet tech, it was a very sad case because it was a beautiful young little filly. She was only 3 years old and she was just started under saddle, beautiful bloodlines, like very expensive, very nice horse. The daughter got her first bit of money and wanted to spend money on a beautiful little shelter out in the paddock. And how they did it is at the four-way intersection of their paddocks is where they built the shelter. So it was big enough to cover the entire corner. So the corner is kind of where all the shade was. Well, unfortunately, some of the contractors left behind nails. And even though they went out there and they dug up everything and they kind of sifted through stuff, they still missed some. And a 4.5-inch nail went into the horse's foot and right into her coffin bone. And unfortunately, it was a horrendous death for that poor filly. And
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it just...
Yeah, so contractors out there, please remember our horses go in our paddocks and,
Yes,
in our shelters and stalls. And, something that's a great tip here for horse owners is, even if you have to buy one or borrow one, get one of those massive magnets.
Yes, I was just
and
about to
go
say.
around your paddock with the magnet. We got to wrap this up, but grooming, so important before you ride and after you ride, so you don't end up with saddle sores also.
Absolutely.
So just bear that in mind. Louisa Barton here with Megan Vainosky from MV Equestrian. Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy. Find new roads.
LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. DAC, it makes a world of difference. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. Get noticed with eye-catching vehicle wraps that showcase your brand's identity and earn you more business. If you're looking for a custom-designed vinyl wrap for horse trailers, box trucks, cars, or pickup trucks, for a single fleet vehicle, or for 100, no job is too big for the Smash Wraps team. Make your appointment to set your business apart today. Find us on social media or at smashwraps.com. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now, here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, that's our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Can you tell we were laughing in the break? I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we have a special guest here in the studio with us, Shawn Roetschke. How did I do?
You did well.
I did well.
Did well.
I have been practicing her last name the entire break, by the way. Hoping I wouldn't mess it up. So
it's a tough one.
Yes.
You did very well.
Thank you for the grace you gave me on that. It's not an easy one, by the way. You would pronounce it probably differently if you saw it. So
yes.
Anyway, I met Shawn about a week ago, I guess, and we got to chatting on the phone, and we talked about the upcoming wonderful events that we have going on at the Florida Horse Park. You reached out because you heard I was looking for a drill team.
Yes.
And I'm going to be completely honest here about this. I lost about 5 or 6 horses out of the parade that had to cancel for a variety of different reasons. One horse sick, one horse injured, somebody else still dealing with aftermath of hurricane stuff at their farm, hadn't had enough time training their horses. And I thought, what's the really fast way of replacing 5 or 6 horses? It's get a drill team.
That's it.
So I started this little bit of an outreach and found the Saddle Sisters and found Shawn, and she started telling me her story and sending me photos, and I was so fascinated. I said, you've got to come on the show and tell us your story because, well, we'll probably need to have her on like 10 shows to tell the whole story, but we definitely want to start with a couple of segments with her. But the very first question I have, pretty much for all of our guests, is how did you get involved in horses and how old were you? So,
okay. Well, thank you for having me today.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure being here with y'all. I started riding at age 2, and I had a pony, Dixie, and just that was it. I just took off from there. And
now, where did you grow up?
in Texas, out in a little bitty town called Cut and Shoot.
That's where you get that accent.
Very small. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
So way out there in
What's
the
the
country.
name of it?
Cut and Shoot.
Cut and Shoot.
And it's literally cut in shoot. Cut and
Did you
Shoot,
know there was a
Texas.
town called that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's way out in the country. So, yeah, and you know, we rode, my sisters and I and friends, we rode back roads. And when I was an adult, I went back to see like where my house, the distance between my house and my little friend's house that I rode to all the time, it's 5 miles along like one of those little paved country roads. And so that's a distance.
We were
for, like,
brave,
a
weren't
little
we,
kid.
when we were little?
Yeah, it was a different world and all too.
It
but,
was, that's
yeah.
true.
And so then I just started riding, and I mean my entire life just had this
So it's a
passion.
lifelong passion.
It is. It's a lifestyle.
I love
for me.
that.
Like there was 1 year in my life when I was actually a cheerleader that I didn't have my horse with me. And so that was just, it was devastating. And
You
I was
were
like,
a cheerleader. What,
yeah.
what kind of cheerleader?
Well,
I was warned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've actually started out in high school. I was a high school cheerleader. I wasn't very good at that. I was more of a dancer, you know, Ty. So I was like, well, I think I'll just try out for the NFL. Actually, I worked for Dolly Parton, and we had a girl come in and try out for an MC job. And I thought, you know what? I want to go down there. I want to do that. And so I went down and auditioned, and I made it.
Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire, right?
Reba, she came and did a show at the stadium, at Texas Stadium at that time. And so this was backstage, and she came out and took pictures with us.
That's lovely.
And so, yeah.
That's
it's been
a
fun.
definite claim to fame. Well, both of them, Dolly Parton and Reba McEntire,
Yeah.
kind of big names, you know. So jumping
wait a
off
minute,
the
keep going.
No, I was
You
going to say
didn't say-
jumping off the horses. Let's jump back to the because Pete can't wait to see the photos. If you're listening on the radio, you've got to go to Facebook or Equus TV and find the Horse Talk Show, because there's some great photos we're going to share with you. Let's jump off on that Dallas Cowboys cheerleading.
Wow.
Wow! Dancing Pete Roder's eyes are popping.
So I'm in the center there.
Which
I
one?
know.
If you're on the radio, you're going to have to
Oh,
look.
I guess you can't see that one.
Yeah, in the middle. No, over in the middle.
There
There
you
you go.
That's mine. That was
Isn't
a
that
long
cool?
time ago.
Oh, what an experience, though. And look, I know this doesn't have anything to do with horses, folks, but forgive me. I know you don't mind us talking about football, right? So, seriously, though, really, I mean, what an experience to have.
Yeah, it was really exciting. You know, there's like a bucket list of things you want to do in life, and that was just something that I wanted to do. And, you know, I got in and made the swimsuit calendar and the centerfold at that. And so I thought, you know, that's good for me. And then from there, I relocated out near a trainer, and I trained with all Olympians for 3-day eventing for 10 years. And I only trained with Olympic riders or coaches. Like, I didn't take lessons from anybody else. Like, I was very particular about, you know, who I learned from, because I didn't want to come with any type of baggage. I want to make sure that I learned from the very best, so that, because I had Olympic dreams.
And so how old were you when you were eventing? I saw some photographs of you eventing, and I thought, wow, you were.
I was like 26 when I started. Yeah. So in the first 2 years, I went up to a 1-star level in eventing from learning to jump. When I first showed up at my jump lesson, I had like tennis shoes on, like in my little Wintec English saddle that I'd had for like years. And so that's actually a friend of mine. I wanted to show y'all. That's at Dolly's, the Christmas costumes. So that's where we sign autographs, and so with that picture. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. I wanted to do a lot of different things.
You've done a lot of exciting things.
Well, yeah, and I wanted to do a variety of things. Growing up, my mom had me in like dance classes, ballet and tap, and I took baton and piano and judo. So
I did
learned,
judo
like,
too. That was fun.
And then
learning how to fall.
Yeah, all of that.
How to tuck and roll.
Yeah, how to protect yourself, just all of those things. So, yeah, it's been very extensive background and with horses and fun, just a lot of fun. And that's just, you know, I give riding lessons and all, and teaching this drill team. It's just about having fun and being having it be a positive experience, really, you know. So horses, and then also I want to back up too, because with cheerleading it goes along the line of fitness, and I like the fitness part of things too. So
yeah, you do have to be fit to
you do
to do all of that.
Right.
Much
yes.
fitter than obviously I am.
Well, it takes a lot of work to, that lifestyle of that fitness and stuff. So
Now, how long did you do that for?
Which part?
The cheerleading.
1 year. 1 year I did, because what else can you do besides the swimsuit calendar? You made it, that's pretty much the top that you can make it there, so you got to move on. There wasn't really any reason for me to stay as far as that, so...
and it's not easy becoming a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
No.
You know what? I have a unique story. So I actually had bronchitis during auditions. And there's 3 auditions that you have to make it. And it was pretty brutal. A lot of beautiful, beautiful girls and all there too. Very, very talented. So it's a tough deal to make. But anyway, so I sang Shania Twain's "Any Man of Mine" for my audition. And
so you can sing too?
Well, not as well as my daughter. My daughter has just a very beautiful voice, and she is just...
Now she's going like
she'll
that.
Bring tears.
We should get her on the mic and see what she can do.
She'll bring tears to your eyes. She makes me cry when she sings, even still today when I hear her.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. But anyway, so...
So you sang it with bronchitis?
Yes, I sang it with bronchitis, and I sat down and I thought, I don't feel very well, and I think, I'm just going to go. There's no way I made it. So I grabbed all my things, and I just kind of snuck out the back and went down, and the security guard...
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Because we got a Winnie.
Okay.
So that means we have to go, but you have to come back and hear the rest, so that's why we stopped her. So join us in the next segment, and we have more with Shawn. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet, and to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed.
Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And this is Shawn. I'm not trying her second name again. Surname. We call it a surname in England. There's your British banter for this week. Surname. S-U-R-N-A-M-E. Surname. There you go.
There we go.
But if you want to meet Shawn, she's going to be with us over the weekend for the expo and the parade and all of the good stuff that we're going to be doing at the Florida Horse Park. So if you want to come and get her autograph, And you got to get a photo of her and Linda Pirelli together. So we've talked a lot about you grew up with horses. Very young, started at 2, had a pony, rode miles all over the place
so hold
in
on,
Texas.
before we get into ponies again, end your audition. You walked out, and then what happened?
Oh, yes, the rest of the story. Yes.
So there's a security guard, and he stopped me and he said, "So where do you think you're going?" And I said, "Oh, sir," I said, "I'm so sorry, I just don't feel good. I have bronchitis. I think, I might even have fever, like I need to get out of here." And he says, "You know what?" He said, "You're not leaving anywhere." He said, "You go put your things in your car and you come back and you go up there and you sit for your name to be called." He said, "I've been doing this for 25 years and I can tell you right now that your name will be called." And I said, "Okay." I believed him, I guess, and been there a long time. So I went up there and sure enough, I made it. So
how did that feel?
It was
Something
awesome.
exciting.
And you know what? I didn't tell anybody. I kind of do things kind of like quietly in my own. And so I didn't tell my family or anybody I was auditioning. I've been working for months and months and stuff on it. And so I called my family after I had made it and said, "Hey, guess what?"
That was an interesting reaction. They were probably like, "Wow."
They're like, "What?"
So now tell us more about the horses.
Yes, let's get back a little bit to now because we have some wonderful photographs at your farm that just make me want to be there. Actually, if I could run away there, I'd just stay the rest of the week there. And,
it's awesome. We have
That's
a
a
beautiful
llama.
farm. Yeah, that's our llama right there. That's Larry, and
we're looking at a picture, folks, of Larry the llama.
Yeah. And he does not spit, well, at least on people. He's very well behaved, and he's just always on, anybody that's willing to feed him, he wants to be friends with. And he was actually wild, so I take in rescues also. And now I have him halter trained, and he gets clipped every year and gets his teeth and his feet done, and so I just absolutely love
pigs
him.
And cows and donkeys.
So I've got about 13 pigs. I raise my own beef, pigs, and poultry. So, and and I say the best ingredient of feeding them is love, because I go out and love on them, and just spend a lot of time throughout the day, even with our beef calves, and just make sure to I don't know, I just like that personal touch on them, and so, and it's the best meat. I think that our meat that we have at home is actually the best beef and pork that I don't even want to go out to eat anymore.
No.
Because I like to cook and stuff. So I just
it tastes better, for
is.
sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it is. It's so
and then
good.
the horses and the drill team and the ministry and all the other amazing, wonderful things you're doing.
Yes. So we have, I think, about 7 horses now. And I'm coaching this drill team over in Brooksville, and it's just such a wonderful group of ladies. Our youngest one is around, I know we're not supposed to talk about age, but ladies, forgive me because they're all so young-hearted and so wonderful. But you know what? When you meet this group of women, you will just feel so inspired, and you will just feel just how driven they are, because this group of ladies, they're trail riders, but also some of them have shown and done things like that, but just such good-hearted and just good, their showmanship and horsemanship just all around is just wonderful. And I feel just so blessed to be able to coach them and help them. Some of them, I'll just share this, some of them couldn't canter, and so they're like, "Oh, I really want to learn to canter." And well, let me back up. The first day that I was coaching them, I said, "All right, can y'all walk, trot, canter?" And they're like, "We don't canter." I'm like, "Well, you will today." And they're like, "We don't canter." I'm like, "Today you will." And now they
and they're
walk, trot,
50s to
canter.
80s, right?
Yes, 56 is our youngest rider. Except for this performance coming up, we have a few fill-ins and stuff. So, and then the oldest one is closer to 80.
Wow.
So, and they're just an incredible group of women. So if y'all are listening, I love you ladies. Y'all are wonderful.
I think that's
blessed.
That's amazing to me, that that you could have a group that would come out. And by the way, they're going to do this is an impromptu add to our schedule, but we're very excited that while we're figuring up the scores at the end of the Hobby Horse Games on Saturday, while we're adding up the totals to figure out who the winner and who the reserve grand champion is, we're going to have this wonderful drill team performance at the Florida Horse Park under the covered arena. So we're very excited about that.
Yes.
Get to see them actually in action. So I'm excited to meet them all. Wonderful ladies.
Yes, they're wonderful.
So kind of like, because we only have 2 segments with you today, so we'll have to have you come back. We're going to kind of jump forward a little bit. You do a lot of other things as well.
Yes.
So you do a lot of ministry work as well.
I do.
I would love to hear about that as well.
I do. So I figured in life, whenever I thought I would take 21 years off of everything that I was doing in life. I was in 3-day eventing. I had Olympic, dreams and all. But I was 30, so I'm like, I better have kids now. So I had my 2 kids, and then I thought, whenever they're in college, then I'll pick up eventing again, buy a young horse, start showing, competing, traveling, and all that good stuff. But the Lord started moving so just huge in my life, and He started speaking and moving bigger and in bigger ways, so much to where we started experiencing like more miracles. Now, I'd always heard His voice audibly. This is crazy, but I've always seen angels. I've seen demons, my entire life. And I know that's really weird to a lot of people. It is very real. It's a very real thing. And so I decided that this is what I was going to dedicate my life to now. The Lord said, are you done with yourself? Are you finished? I'm like, okay, Lord, that's yes. What do you want?
You in your life have done so much. You in your even earlier part of your life, from sort of like teens to about 30 to where you're having your children, that is probably more than a lot of people can do in their lifetime. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Eventing and riding and competing, and then
Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders.
he can't get over that.
Yeah.
So like,
Movies,
I didn't tell him, by the way, before the show, because I knew he would be all like, what? So I didn't tell him about that part, but it's good. Well, the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleader thing. I mean, I didn't.
Movies.
No, there was a movie.
I have done 5 films.
Yeah. She's done movies too.
Actually, one of them, Rain, a movie Rain that I did there in Dallas. I worked with Craig DeBono of the Price is Right family. Faye Dunaway was in it. Robert Loggia from Scarface. Phoebe's boyfriend from Friends. I couldn't remember his name. Matt Battaglia or something like that. So. That's just
There's
for
a
that
lot of
film.
claims
There's other
to
ones
fame.
and all, but that just comes right offhand. Yeah.
I just think it's incredible that it must be incredible to your kids to have a mom that has done so much. And then
embarrassing, one or the other.
My kids are awesome. I have the best kids. Now, you just big hearts and just smart and fun, and which made it easy for me as a mom because they didn't give me any trouble. I have to say, they didn't give me trouble. They behaved well. They made good grades. So we had a lot of fun.
We have a daughter in studio audience, by the way, so
Yes.
I got to keep looking at her because that's so great. There you go.
That's her.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
so it's kind of, 2 segments could never be enough anyway to cover it all, but it's just incredible that to go from all the things you've done to having a farm with all these lovely 4-leggeds.
Yes.
And be doing what you're doing, coaching these ladies and doing ministry. All of that is so much that I cannot believe we're at the end of this segment. How did that happen?
There you go.
Well, we are
I pray
actually
for the
going to
animals,
keep.
I pray for
and
the
she
animals
prays for
too.
the animals
Yes.
too, so
Yes.
even better.
Yes.
We are coming back. We have one more segment on the show. We're going to keep Shawn with us and do our usual wrap-up, so stay with us and we'll be right back. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet, and to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. Ocala Dog Ranch offers a variety of services for your dog, including agility training, barn hunt training, board and train, boarding long and short term, daycare, day training, dock diving training and competitions, disc dog, swimming lessons and pool rentals, lure coursing and obedience training classes. Check out Ocala Dog Ranch at ocaladogranch.com. Ocala Dog Ranch is your home away from home for your dog and more.
This show is brought to you in part by TT Distributors, also online at ttdistributors.com.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
Epic Equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
Equine, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options. Become a better, brighter, and younger you.
The Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And our friend Shawn is still with us. We had a couple segments with her, but we wanted to keep her with us until the end because we know she can probably comment on some of this great stuff that we have. We also have a couple gifts for her we're going to give her, but let's start off with Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week.
Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal.
Brought to you by Wildlife Works. So if you have any critters that you don't like and you don't want in your barn, yes, not the kind you pray over and want to keep.
Right.
Those kind that you want to get rid of. Wildlife Works can take care of that for you. Pete, what have you got for us?
Be in the moment. So I had a student that it was actually last week, and her mind, I said, "Where are you?" And she was like, "Well, I've got this to do." And I said, "No, you need to be right here in the moment with your horse. You got to be thinking about what you're doing, and everything needs to go away." Because she goes, "Well, I have this going on, this going on." I said, "No, whatever's going on is gone right now for this 2-hour lesson. You have to be in the moment with your horse because the horse is in the moment." So that it's really hard to describe. I've had students where they're like, I'm like looking at them going, "Where are you?" She owned a tanning salon, and she says, "Well, I have this tanning salon. This one room I have to repaint." I said, "Well, no wonder he's frozen. He's in this little bitty room with this big machine." And she was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, be in the moment and be with him." And he walked over and picked up a cone. He had never touched a cone in his life, and he started playing with stuff when she got in the moment. So being in the moment with your horse is very important.
That's amazing. It's a good point.
And
that's the same with
for
everything,
life
isn't it?
lesson, yes.
Yeah, it
Don't
really is.
you love it when you're sitting there talking to somebody and they're thinking about something else, and you're like, you can tell, and you're like, "Okay, see ya."
Yeah, I know a lot of people actually I have conversations with, and I know they're not there. Happens often, so very, very good point. And if you own a horse, you probably own a dog. So here's some dogmanship for you, a very important tip from Neil at Ocala Dog Ranch. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. It's a good idea to have identification on your dogs, whether it's just a simple tag on a collar or a microchip or a tattoo. If your dog gets out, and nobody expects to lose their dog, and nobody wants to lose their dog, but if your dog has no identification whatsoever on them, what are the chances that they're going to find their way home? So invest in an ID tag, maybe use a national registry with the microchip so that when they find the dog, they can scan the dog and they can give you a call. It's no fun to lose your dog. You spend the rest of your life looking for them. Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch.
I want to run off what Neil just said with something else that actually struck me with my animals recently, and that is that, you know, you can have a microchip, and a microchip is, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a microchip. I think it's great because if your dog does go missing, they're going to scan it and they're going to hopefully find you. But there's two things I'm just going to say about that came to me in the last probably couple of months even, is one, a lot of people forget to update their contact information on the microchip. So that can be an issue if the people can't find you, if you're not updated. And then the second thing is, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in the boonies, like 45 minutes from Ocala. Where is the nearest vet that could scan my dog if it got loose? I don't know. So I'm going to go off kind of what Neil said. I'm not telling you not to microchip. I'm all about it, especially if you live in town, around town. All dogs really microchip them. It's the best thing you could possibly do. But on top of that, have something on the collar that ties them to you with current information. Because if somebody can't get the dog all the way to town or to a vet to get it scanned, they might live an eighth of a mile from you. They might be just up the road and can bring the dog back to you, but they've got to wait to get to a vet. So I have a tag on every single collar with my phone number, my name, the dog's name, everything. So have that in addition to having that microchip, because then you've really covered everything. You could save the dog a trip to the pound or the Humane Society to be scanned by your neighbor, can just come down the road and say, here, I've got your dog, or call you and say, come get your dog. You could save a whole lot of stuff going on. So covering all those bases to keep your dog nice and safe, very important. Shawn, we have some gifts for you.
Oh boy.
We have a horse talk show brush.
Oh, right.
It's what we call a dandy brush in England.
Yes.
And this, we just ask those people that we give these to if they would please take photos all over the place with them and tag us, because we love to see the brushes traveling and going on all sorts of adventures, whether they be horse or ministry.
Yes.
And then we have or horse and ministry, and we have a very nice goodie bag full of piranha goodies for you.
Thank you.
And I know your daughter would probably love to have one too, so we'll get her one as well and make sure she's all taken care of. We've got a few more things we got to mention. Believe it or not, thank you God, it's going to be chilly this weekend. Shh. Yes! No, I love it when I don't have to sweat at horse events. It's so fantastic. I'm British, we sweat.
Actually, I'm glad because my horses have a thick coat. So
yes, it's wonderful. Supposedly, I heard today from Engel and Volker's Buzzy told me it's going to be 40-something degrees on Saturday morning.
Oh, boy.
I love wearing a coat when I'm working hard, and so do dogs and horses. For those of you that like horses and dog blankets for your animals when it's cold, TT Distributors has a lot in stock right now. Available, horses and dogs, so you can take care of both at TT. Other mentions we have is, I'm very excited, I want to thank Royal Blessing very much. They very kindly donated a trailer to the Equine Initiative last week, and that's what it looked like when we got it. And thank you very much to Smash Wraps. They put some logos on it for us, and Equine Initiative presented by Piranha Animal Health, and on the front later on we're going to have some nice horse images, horses looking over the stalls. But we were actually just trying to get this done in time for these events that we have this weekend, and that thing is already full. It's full of hobby horses, it's full of a Pasofino board I made this weekend, and lots of other goodies, all for this wonderful 2 days of events, November 22nd and 23rd at the Florida Horse Park. So very, very thankful to everybody involved. Thank you so much to AgPro and Advanced Talent Solutions, and of course to Piranha, who make the Equine Initiative possible here in Marion County. As I mentioned before, we are the only chamber in the world that has an equine initiative, and it's great that we can bring equine edutainment to all age groups, where they can have a chance to learn about horse sports, about horse breeds. And there's going to be demonstrations and vendors. There's going to be free carriage rides on Saturday with David Helmuth, which is an adventure by itself.
Come out. It's a great time for the young kids and the older kids, and I mean the adult older kids. It's a lot of fun to participate, see all the professionals that are actually going to be running the events.
Yes.
It's not just somebody off the street.
Oh no, it's top people. We've got Squeak Larkins coming to do the barrel racing. We've got Linda Pirelli teaching the dressage. We have the Suarez family, who are absolutely top competitors in the Pasofino world, teaching the Pasofino class. We've got Megan Vainosky of MV Equestrian, who'll be teaching the show jumping. We've got some folks that are really really top-notch trainers, very, very serious about what they do, that compete at high levels, that are serious about their sports. It is not by any means, and actually you can grab your Ocala magazine this month and read about why Hobby Horse Games, because it is not by any means to make any sort of fun of anybody who's serious about the sport. We know you're serious about the sport. We know how much work goes into it. We're just so grateful to these professionals that are going to come and teach it, to take away the intimidation factor both from the horse and from the sport. So we're excited. Thank you, Shawn, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We have to wrap up. Show flew by. It must have been the Dallas Cowboys bit.
That's right.
That did it. Yeah, that was it. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world, or not, happy horsing around. Until next week.
See you next week.